Okay, Baruch Hashem, we're
The Seder, which is Tzei Ulamad. Do you have that, everybody? Go out and see what Lavan Arami wanted to do to our forefather. Tzei Ulamad, Mabikesh Lavan Arami, Asos Yaakov Avinu. Does everybody see that? It's right after Vihisha Amda, right after they attacked us in every generation. Go out and see what Lavan the Aramean tried to do to our father Jacob. Does anybody have the place? Yeah, here.
yeah.
You have it, niece? Elliot, you have it? Mordechai, you have it? I can easily hop over there in 2 seconds and show you. Hold on. Do you have it, Shepsel? Oh, yeah, it's the next page. It's right here. Hold on. Oh, yeah, because this one's filled with like 1 page of text and 300 pages of commentary. Who's Haggadah do you have? Oh, this is a gem. Do you need help finding it up here? Okay. Oh, you went a little too far, but yeah, you went way far. But here it is. And do you have the place, Thera? No, Rami Al-Vadavi is 1 page too far. Go 1 page earlier. And what about you, Shepsel? You have it? Okay. Thera, if you don't have it, let me know. I'll be right there in less than a second. Here it is.
Okay.
Oh, it doesn't have it.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a weird one.
Yeah.
Here, use this one. Use this. I don't know. It just has beautiful pictures.
One of the 50 pages.
Okay, well, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Just maybe look on with the man you're married to and you could share. Here's another one. Here's another one, Thera. Thera, here. Okay. So, you know, okay, actually, I saw yesterday was yesterday we had something special that I showed my parents were staying with us. We were doing our Haggadah study. My mother has Alzheimer's. When we gave her the one that was filled with the most beautiful illuminations, all of a sudden her whole demeanor changed and it was like it accessed a different part of her brain and she was very excited by it. So it's very important to have different Haggadahs at your Seder. Different people can relate to different aspects of it. So yeah, that's why, of course, she's an artist and she was inspired by the art that she saw. It was very beautiful. So let us read this passage. Go out and study, or go out, say Olamad, go out and learn, and know that this is the case. Because we just said, what have we just said? We just said in every generation they rise against us. The Isha Amda. It wasn't just one who stood against us to destroy us. In every generation, they stand against us to destroy us. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu saves us from their hands. So go out and learn. What did Lavan the Aramean say? Omad, go out and learn what? That this is in fact the case, that in every generation they try to destroy us, that this is actually accurate, that this is accurate. And you'll see, where did it start? It started with Lavan, the Mabikesh Lavan Ha'arami, Sot Yaakov Avinu. What did Lavan the Aramean attempt to do to Jacob? Sheparo Bogazar El Harim. Paro actually only made a decree against the males. What was Paro's decree against the males? Yeah, actually in today's Daf Yomi, he said all the boys are going thrown in the river, and he was putting all the baby boys into the walls into the wall of the brick, to kill them. But he only made the decree against the males. And Lavan bikesh lakora takol. So Lavan actually attempted to uproot everything. How so? How so? Where did Lavan attempt to do everything? Nace. Where did he attempt? Where did Lavan? Elliot, you're studying in the yeshiva. this year. Do you remember where did Lavan want to destroy us all?
He chased after Yaakov in the school.
It says in the pasuk, very good news, "Vayikach es achav imo, vayidof acharav," and he took his colleagues with him, and he chased after Jacob. That's in Genesis chapter 31, verse 23. And when he encountered him, it says, "Yesh le'el yadi la'asos imachem ra, l'okei avichem, emesh amar elai le'mor, yishamer lecha midaber im Yaakov." He said, yesterday, I was about to kill you, but your God of your fathers came to me and said, don't even say anything to Yaakov. So that's the source for this idea, that says Rashi. The Abarbanel says, how do we know that he also wanted to kill the females? Okay, maybe he just was going to kill the males. How do we know he's also going to kill the females? So we know he wanted to also kill the females because it says that it says habanot binotai, your girls are my girls. That means he intended to kill them. Actually, others say, because it's based upon the Gemara we had recently last week. Remember this? We did this in Daf Yomi. That Lavan was also very good, niece. And Lavan was also Bilam. And Bilam, we know, wanted to kill everybody because he wanted to curse all the Jewish people. Who else was? Yes, Chashtar Naim, what is his name? The king of Aram, and Bilam and Lavan were all the same. Very nice. So excellent, niece. You remember it all. Very, very bright. Honor to us to have niece and Elliot staying with us. So that's possibly also the source. But anyway, we see from here that Paro made the decree on the males, and Lavan sought to kill everyone. Lavan bikesh la'koros hakol, and so therefore we're seeing another source for this idea. But the Gemara, the Haggadah is now going to tell us this context. We'll do one more paragraph and then we'll see what on the other the commentaries on this say. As it states, and this is a very, very challenging verse. As it states, it states in Deuteronomy chapter 27, verse 5, Arami Oved Avi, Vayerin Mitzrayma, Vayagar Sham Bimsei Ma'at, Vayisham Wagai Gadol Atzum V'Rav. Now, what does this mean? How you doing, Jeff? How you doing, David? David, are you in a rush? Are you studying with us or you got to go? Okay, so join us with Haggadah. Okay, so this is, as it's here, give one to David. But Theo, don't give him the trick one. The trick one is missing some words because they have different versions of the text. So, okay, so David, so we just read this passage of Arami Oved Avi. This is the proof that Lavan wanted to destroy all of us. So first of all, I'm going to ask everybody, this is actually, we're now entering into what's called the meat and potatoes of the Haggadah. The meat and potatoes of the Haggadah is not during Shulchan Aruch where we serve the brisket and the potatoes. This is the meat and potatoes. These next few pages where we darshan the Haggadah. We take a psukim, a paragraph from the Torah, and we expound it. And that paragraph begins with these words. Now, what is this paragraph known as? What paragraph is this? Exactly, Elliot. This is the Mikra Bikurim, the recitation of the Bikurim. So what is the recitation of the Bikurim? So what is the recitation of the Bikurim? What are you supposed to do? You're supposed to, when you have fruit growing in your field, you take a little string, you go around the fruits, you tie it up, and you say, Arezeh Bikurim, this is my first fruit. Then you take the fruits in a basket and you bring it to Jerusalem. You decorate it, you have a fanfare, you bring it to the Kohen. And then when you bring it to the Kohen will wave the fruits in front of you, And then you have certain requirements, which we read about in the Daf Yomi, which you then, if you meet these requirements, you recite this passage. You recite the passage, it's called Mikra Bikurim. You recite the passage of the Bikurim. And you recount, you're expressing your gratitude to God, and you begin that process by recounting your history. And that is what we darshan here at the Seder night. We go into the different verses. And so we say that the first verse was Arami Oved Avi, which is the first verse of the Mikra Bikurim. And my father, what does it mean, Arami Oved Avi? So what do those words mean? An Arami Oved Avi. This is the beginning of the Bikurim passage. And now we're going into it and expounding it. But what do those three words mean? What do those three words mean? Okay, so you are basically correct, but you're also incorrect, because you're correct, and that's certainly how the Haggadah is reading it. But it's a major dispute amongst the commentaries whether or not that's the real way to read it, because the real way, probably the literal way to read that verse, is not that an Aramean who is Lavan tried to destroy my father, but my father was a wandering Aramean who then went down to Egypt, few in numbers. Arami Oved Avi, that my father was the wandering Aramean who went down. But the Haggadah, following the Midrash, reads it that not like that. It reads it that an Aramean was someone who was trying to destroy my father, and that was Lavan. And that's how he reads it. Hold on one second. So before we go into more depth, let's just go back a second and see what we have from this text, because I jumped over a lot of it. Hold on. So they're both Arameans, because Avram was an Aramean and Lavan was an Aramean. So you could read it as my father was a wandering Aramean, or that could be a reference to Jacob, who was also wandering Aramean, and then Jacob went down to Egypt, few in numbers. Or you could read it as an Aramean, i.e. Lavan, tried to destroy my father. You could say Terach and Avram too, but Terach didn't. When did Terach try to kill Avram? He never tried to kill him. Can you look at me? Oh. No, so we just said the verse is that he did, because he ran after Jacob and he said, I was about to attack you, but your God came to me and told me, hands off. So that's the idea. That's the idea. So here. Yeah, okay, they have a whole commentary here. We'll go a little backwards. After we do this, we'll go back to the how do we know that Lavan wanted to kill everyone? But first, since we're focused on this, it says who is the kavanah to? So there's several different ways. You can get everybody confused at your Seder. So first of all, it says that in the Sifri, it says that Jacob. So Rashi says, quoting his Rabbi Yehuda Bar Yakar, and the Shibbolei Lakat and Ritva, they explain that the explanation here is that my father, Arami Oved Avi, it refers to Lavan, who was an Aramean, and he wanted to destroy his father, he wanted to destroy Jacob. And that's why it says, and that's basically the way we've explained it until now. And also the Targum says, Lavan Arma'ah, Lavan the Aramean, Ba'al Uvda Yat Abba, wanted to destroy father. The Ibn Ezra famously challenges this. He says, if the text was really referring to Lavan, then why doesn't it say not Arami Oved Avi, but Arami Me'abed Avi? That would be the proper language. And furthermore, as we said from the next verse, Lavan never went down to Egypt, and Lavan did not cause the descent to Egypt. It doesn't make sense, because it says Vayered Mitzrayma. Lavan had nothing to do with that. Hello, Eliezer. Still good to see you. Lavan had nothing to do with the descent. Okay, so therefore, even Ezra says the explanation that is referring to Jacob. And Jacob says, and the verse means that Jacob, my father, was a wandering Aramean, meaning to say the time that he was in Aram, he was an Oved, which means he was poor. And why was he called an Arami? Because he was there. So they have other citations. So now those are the first two most common explanations. Of course, since this is the Masif Teshas, guess how many other explanations of this verse they have? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Unbelievable. I love it. I love it. Okay, now the Sforno says, he says the word Oved means that he was just like a nomad. He doesn't say that he was poor, it means he was a nomad. Okay. The Rashbat says, no, how can you call Jacob an Aramean? He wasn't an Aramean. He was just like sojourning there for a few years. And also in the end, Jacob was richer than Lavan. So how can you say he's poor? And also it says, he didn't go down to Egypt, but he went to settle in the land of Canaan. So therefore, the Rashbat says Oved is in the present, meaning to say that he started to kill that Lavan started to kill Jacob, but he did not finish the action because God revealed himself to him. And he says, Oved Avi means to say that he was in the process, not that he destroyed, but he was in the process of trying to kill. The Rashbam gives another explanation. This is what Elliot was saying. This is what you were saying, Elliot. Very nice. The Rashbam, who's Rashbam? Rashbam is Rashi's grandson. Rashbam says that the intent is to Avram, who was a child of Aram. He's from Aram, and he had to be exiled from his land. Okay, so he was exiled from his land. It says, so, and when Abram was wandering, so he was a wanderer. So basically, nothing to do with Terach, but it maybe could refer to Abram, that Oved means somebody who was wandering around. My father was a wandering Jew. Okay, another explanation. In the Sifrei Debei Rav, it explains that when Jacob went down to Aram, he was considered like he was already dead, meaning to say he had certain things wrong with him. He was like poor, and he was maybe possibly in some ways he was a goner. He was being pursued. Anyway, we have some more explanations. But anyway, that's some of the explanations of this verse. Now, I just want to go back and focus on these two words at the beginning of this passage, which are just often overlooked, but are so unusual in our prayers. We never say it, and that's what separates the Haggadah. The first two words here are just wow. We can't just elide them quickly. Sayulamad. That in many ways is the purpose of the Haggadah. Go out and learn. Sayulamad. How rare is that? Where else do you see that phrase? I don't remember that phrase anywhere else. The Haggadah is telling us Sayulamad. That's our mandate on Seder night. Go out and learn. Go out and study. Go out and study. Geshmak. Go out and study. Sayulamad. So I have here another 8 explanations about what does it mean to be Tzeilamad. The Rashbat explains that it means, like we just said, go out and learn. It does appear twice in the Talmud. It appears once in the Talmud. It says, Tzeilamad mishuk shachamorim. Go out and learn. You can learn in Gemara Chagiga, Tes Amabeit, says you can even go learn from the donkey markets. Basically, that this is our responsibility to go out and learn about our history, about how every nation has tried to destroy us, because the previous paragraph was how they tried to destroy us. Go out and learn about how they tried to destroy us. The Abarbanel says, He says, okay, so the first explanation, you got to write this down. You're going to forget it. Write it on your notes, Nate. The first explanation is go and learn. Go and learn. Go out and make a drasha. The second explanation is from the Abar now. And he says, go out from the story of Pesach. But it's like you're telling a story. Stop doing what you're doing and go back another 400 years. Go out from what you're doing and go discuss discuss Lavan. We're going to go back to Lavan. Why Lavan? Oh, that's where we have to go back. That's what the text is telling us. Number 3, this is an explanation from the Malchi B'Kodesh. I confess my ignorance. It's a defect. I don't know who that is. He said, Seyu Amad says go out and learn, but it doesn't say Seyu Ra'eh. Meaning to say, it says go out and learn, but not go out and see. Meaning to say, so what's this learned out? How do we do this? Because Lavan, what he's saying is, why does it say go out and learn? Is because it's not explicit in the text. So you have to go out and make a drasha. If it would be obvious, then they would use the word seyurei. So since it's not explicit, it requires a drasha. Therefore, we say seyulamad. Go out and see. Go learn and seek. So that counteracts it. One of the things is who's that Haggadah? Okay, Eli Wiesel is great. By the way, Eli Wiesel, I almost think if you read some of the earlier stuff of Eli Wiesel, he's just so incredible. A lot of the people think, Eli Wiesel is just the author of Holocaust, and no, he was so much richer than that. I mean, his greatness is even talking about Hasidim, and I was almost I made a mistake that the first thing I read from him was Night, which was so overwhelming and power. I read it when I was in like 6th grade. I clearly didn't even get grasped at steps. But then every time I saw something from Eli Wiesel, I didn't pick it up for many years because I just said, he's about the Holocaust, and I don't need to read it because I'm not in the Holocaust mood right now. But really, he's just an unbelievable teacher and explainer and scholar. And so I actually love Eli Wiesel. So if that's, I'm sure it's amazing. I never used it.
I think it's supposed to be the black in translation, the red in commentary. The black, the translation is go learn and see.
Yeah, and because usually when they do these Haggadahs not always, but usually when they do these Haggadahs, their commentary is original and they got a translation from somebody else. So he's probably not responsible for the translation, and they didn't go over the translation because it's a whole different skill. He did his own translation. Oh, Donnie, here, grab a Haggadah. Okay. Well, it's a continuation. Well, that's what we're saying, that this paragraph is a continuation of the Bechol Torah Vador. That's why it says go out and learn. We just said in every generation they try to attack us, and now we're going to bring the proof. Say Amad, come look at what Lavan. What are you using? Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Love it.
COVID is in the present.
Right. That's one of the traditions. So what are you saying?
No, that every generation runs up against it. And here it doesn't say that Lavan tried to kill us or he did kill us, but is killing us. And he represents Lavan, the Arami represents the nations that are constantly in the present.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of like what we saw before about why did one of the commentators explain why did it not say Ma'abed? It said Oved to emphasize this idea that they were still attempting to kill us. Yes, please, Thera. Oh wow, let's hear it. It's the Rebbe. The Rebbe. That's beautiful. I love that. And by the way, that's what we should say at the beginning of the Seder. You say, okay, that's all we're going to learn. You're going to have at your Seder if you're 2 people or if you're 20 people. Not everybody's going to agree. So if we're going to get anywhere tonight, if we're going to make this an educational moment, a moment of growth, let's all go out from our preconceived notions and be open to learning. That's what the Rebbe is always so. He just knows how to get straight into my heart. I feel like whenever he speaks, he's speaking straight to me. So that was the conversation between the Rebbe and me, and I let you guys listen. Thank you, Thera. Oh, tell me, what does he say? He says, go out and learn the rest of his commentary. He said, what does it actually say? He says, Shabbos 21a. Could somebody look it up in Safari? I want to know the exact text. 31a. He's 21a, I think it's Hanukkah, right? He says, say, what are the actual Hebrew words he said? He says, that which is hateful to you, don't do unto others that which is hateful to you. Yeah. He says, but then he says, and all the rest is commentary. Go and but let's see the exact language. Okay, in the meantime, we'll go the next one. The Midrash Haggadah says that it is said. It's similar to what we said before. Go out from the study of Paro. Go out from the study of Lavan, which is what you're studying, and go study Lavan and learn from Paro to Lavan. Okay. The Iyun Tefillah explains that it's not say ulamad, but say ulamed, meaning to say go out and teach. Not go out and learn, but go out and teach to your children what Lavan wanted to do, so that your children will know. So that your children will know that through a miracle, good afternoon, Michael, we are existing, that we only exist through a miracle. And our whole existence is through divine providence. To go out and teach the story, so everybody will realize that the only reason why we're here today is a tremendous miracle. Yes, Jeff. Zil Gamor. So it's Aramaic. It's the Aramaic translation of that. But the phrase "say Oman," I think, is only so far as I can tell. The actual phrase is only from the Haggadah test Amabeis, which it says Zil means go. Zil means go. Doesn't mean necessarily go out. That means go. And Gemor means learn. But we saw that there's maybe a difference between Tsei Ulamad versus Tsei Ura'eh. So it's almost exactly the same. But and who gave that commentary? Erica. Okay, so if Erica says it, must be true. Okay, we like Erica a lot. A tremendous scholar and tremendous person. So if she says that, I take back anything I said. Okay, Ba'acharit l'shalom. The Acharit l'shalom explains. Oh wait, we have to daven mincha. Oh, we're just getting going, but we got to daven mincha now. All right, we're studying in memory of Don, whose Hebrew name was David ben Leib. And in the Shema of an Aliyah, and merit. He did talk about, let me just stop for a second. Talk about a person who was Say Ulamade, who went out and taught. And I remember after he was Nifter, and Shepsel was telling me about how all the people who he and his wife touched were just telling them just tremendous tributes about the way he affected their lives, the way he taught. So how appropriate is it on the night that we're remembering his yard site? The theme is go out and learn and go out and teach. A big shekoyah. Let us daven mincha now. And